We continue learning workbook page 116 with this next problem. As I mentioned, there are 3 problems in all. There's a short one, a medium one, and a long one. This is the medium one. X minus the principal square root of the difference, 6 minus 5x, equals negative 12. Okay, let's go through the steps of solving this problem. The first step is to isolate. So pick a radical to isolate. There's only one radical in this problem. It's this one right here. And because there is subtraction in front of it, at the moment it is not isolated. However, if we choose to isolate it, one way would be to move the entire radical, which is being subtracted, to the other side of the equation, and move this negative 12 on the right to the other side of the equation. Watch what happens when we do this. When we take this term and move it over here, it changes signs. And when we take this term and move it over here, it changes signs. So we get x plus 12 equals positive square root of 6 subtract 5x. Notice what we've achieved. We've now isolated this radical. It no longer has any adding, subtracting, or dividing before it, after it, or under it. It has been isolated. All right, step 2 is the raise step. This is where you look at the index of your isolated radical, which is 2, and then you raise both sides to that power. Now, an equation has 2 sides, a left side and a right side. So when you do the raise step, you can only write parentheses and an exponent twice. Once for the left side, once for the right side. Okay. On the right side, the square root and the square cancel, leaving us 6 minus 5x. On the left side, we have to acknowledge that an exponent tells us how many times to multiply a base by itself. So this is an x plus 12 times another x plus 12. And we'll multiply those two binomials using FOIL. So we get x squared plus 12x plus 12x plus 144 equals 6 subtract 5x. Now, we're going to solve this using the skills we learned in section 5.8, which is when you have a polynomial equals a polynomial, then your goal is to move all terms to one side, leaving equals on the other. So let's combine our like terms here. We have x squared plus 24x plus 144 equals 6 minus 5x. Then we're going to take these two terms, the 6 and the negative 5x, and we're going to move them both to the other side of the equation. Okay, so then what are we going to have? So then we have x squared plus 24x plus 5x plus 144 minus 6 equals 0. Okay, the terms that I have shown here in red are the ones that moved to the other side and changed sign. All right, now combine like terms again. We get x squared plus 29x plus 138 equals 0. Now factor the trinomial. We need two numbers that multiply to make 138, but add to make 29. Those would be 6 and 23. Next, use the zero product property. X plus 6 equals 0, or x plus 23 equals 0. Subtract 6 on both sides, x equals negative 6. Subtract 23 on both sides, x equals negative 23. These are what the answer might be, but any one of those two solutions could be extraneous, so we have to check them both. You check by going back to the original equation that you started with and replacing x with the potential solution value. Let's do that now. All right, this is the original equation we started with. let's first check x equals negative 6. So everywhere we see an x, we're going to put a negative 6. So we get negative 6 minus the square root of 6 minus 5 times negative 6 equals negative 12. Notice the parentheses around the negative 6. When the x that you're replacing with a number has an exponent, a multiplying value, or is being subtracted, then parentheses are required. If not, then no parentheses are required. Okay, now we're going to simplify. We will simplify by following order of operations. We will not use properties of equality. For example, we will not add 6 to both sides of the equation. We're simply going to work on the left side by itself. All right, so working from the inside out, we have 6 subtract negative 30, which is the same thing as 6 plus 30, which is 36. The square root of 36 is 6, and minus 6 more is minus 12. So we get negative 12 equals negative 12, and this answer checks. That's a good one. Okay, now we have to check negative 23. Okay, here we go, negative 23. So everywhere we see an x, we're going to put negative 23. So we get negative 23 minus square root of 6 minus 5 times negative 23 equals negative 12. Negative 23 subtract, this is 6 minus negative 115. Subtracting a negative is adding, so we get negative 23 minus 6 plus 115, which is 121. The principal square root of 121 is 11. And minus 23 minus 11 is negative 34. So we get negative 34 equals negative 12, which is false. Therefore, that tells us that x equals negative 23 is not a solution. It is extraneous. So our final answer for this problem is x equals negative 6. It is the only solution. If you forget to check your work, you will sometimes present a solution that is not actually an answer because it is extraneous. So remember to check your work for every single possible solution every single time.